Hello and welcome to the channel. Presidential candidate of Labour Party Peter Obi has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC of bias in favor of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led All Progressives Congress APC. He insisted that the electoral body, which was supposed to be neutral in dealing with political parties, is not and is clearly in support of the ruling party. This all played out in court as the case between Obi, Tinubu, and INEC continues. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Presidential poll. You are biased, Peter Obi replies INEC. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP, Mr. Peter Obi, yesterday accused the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC of bias, insisting that it ought to maintain neutrality in electoral contests among candidates. Obi, in a reply he filed before the Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC), faulted the electoral body for filing a preliminary objection in support of the president-elect and candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He noted that both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal had in the past cautioned INEC not to place itself in a position where imputation of partiality in favor of one party against one will be leveled against it. The Commission had in response prayed to the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal (PEPT) to dismiss the petition filed by LP on its presidential candidate Peter Obi, saying the reliefs sought were not grantable. The electoral body contended that Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima, who were the APC presidential and vice presidential candidates, were duly declared and returned as elected and issued certificates of return having fulfilled the requirements of the Constitution to be so declared. INEC is the first respondent in the petition filed before the tribunal by Obi, the first petitioner, and LP, the second petitioner. They had dragged INEC, Tinubu, Shettima, and the APC to the court as first to fourth respondents, respectively. In its reply filed by its lawyer, Abubakar Mahmood San, the INEC prayed the court to either dismiss or strike out the petition for being grossly incompetent, abusive, vague, nebulous, generic, general, non-specific, ambiguous, equivocal, hypothetical, and academic. Faulting INEC, Obi, who came third in the February 25th presidential election, recalled that the Apex Court had in the case of Attorney General of the Federation v. Abubakar 2007-10 NW LRO PTO 1041 emphasized that the Electoral Commission must not only embrace neutrality as its watchword, but must always remain fair and focused. He said the first respondent, forgetting its role as an electoral umpire, gave a notice of preliminary objection to challenge the alleged incompetence of the petition. The global best practice for electoral umpires in national elections is that an electoral body must avoid creating the impression that it has no respect for neutrality in an electoral contest between candidates. The appellate courts have repeatedly admonished the first respondent of its need to remain neutral in election proceedings. However, the first respondent hereof has remained impervious to change. INEC adorned garb of a contestant in the poll. Therefore, it is not only an embarrassment, but a repudiation of the duty of the first respondent when it adorns the garb of a contestant in an election it conducted as an umpire to raise preliminary objection against an election petition, as in the case hereof. The expectation is that INEC will maintain a neutral stance in all litigations where participants in elections are challenging the outcome of the elections and not indulge in filing objections to the petition. The petitioners will, before or at the pre-hearing session or at the hearing of the petition, urge the Honorable Court to strike out and or to dismiss the first respondent's notice of preliminary objection. Besides, or be described as misconceived, INEC's preliminary objection against the petition he lodged against the declaration of Tinubu as the winner of the presidential election. The first respondent's contention that the relief sought in the petition are not grantable is false and made in manifest disregard for the specific and concise pleadings in the petition. The pleading in the first respondent's notice of preliminary objection that the allegation in paragraph 22 of the petition is defective and does not disclose a course of action is wishful thinking. Or be further contended that Tinubu was not elected by a majority of lawful votes cast at the election, adding that the appeal court, which will sit as the tribunal for the presidential election disputes, has the requisite jurisdiction to entertain and determine the real issues in the petition. The petitioners further averred that the necessary parties as required by law for the determination of the instant petition are before the honorable courts. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and please turn the notification bell on. Thank you. The Honorable Court has the requisite jurisdiction to entertain and determine the real issues in this petition. Furthermore, or be contended that Tinubu's running mate and Vice President-elect, Kashim Shettima, was not validly nominated to contest the presidential election. As at 14 July 2022, when the third respondent was nominated as the vice presidential candidate of the fourth respondent, the third respondent was still the senatorial candidate of the fourth respondent for the Borno Central Senatorial District, its name not having been withdrawn by the fourth. Respondent as stipulated by Section 33 of the Electoral Act 2022, Borno Central Senatorial District is a constituency for the purpose of a senatorial election. Likewise, the entire federation is a constituency for election for the office of president and vice president. Until there is a valid substitution of a candidate by a political party, the status quo remains, and therefore the submission of the third respondent's Form EC9 as vice presidential candidate of the fourth respondent did not automatically abrogate a subsisting nomination as senatorial candidate for the senatorial election for Borno Central Senatorial Districts. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.